Hello everyone, myself Purushotham, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science Engineering, MLR. In this session, I am going to discuss about the random class. So this is the overview of this session. So in this session, I am going to discuss about the random class, what is a random class and applications of the random class, and some random class methods and some example program I am going to discuss now. Okay, so let's get started today's session. So what is a random class? In Java, a random is a predefined class, so which is present in the java.util package. So random is a predefined class, so that's why it's starting with a capital letter, and which is present inside a java.util package. So as we know that inside the java.util, so it stores some utility classes. So random class is one of the utility class. Now, so what it does means, so the generation of the random numbers takes place using an instance of the random class. Means, as name suggests, using the random class, we can generate some random numbers, or we can generate some random objects. Like object can be anything. It may be random integer, it may be random float, or it may be random byte, or it may be random boolean, or it may be any other random object. So using the random class, so we can generate the random object. Now, so this class provides different methods in order to produce the random numbers type boolean, integer, double, long, and float. Okay, so using the random class, we can generate the random object. So object can be anything. It may be a random boolean, or it can be a random integer, or it can be random double, or it can be random long, or it can be a random float. So using these methods, so we can generate the random objects. So to work with the random class, so first of all, we need to create an object in order to access these methods. Like suppose if you want to create a random double, we need to use this method, next double method. If you want to create a random boolean value, you need to use a next boolean method. If you want to create a random float value, we need to use a next float. Or if you want to access, or if you want to create a random integer, we need to use the next int method. For every data type, we have specific method is present inside java.random class. Now, in order to access this method, first of all, what we need to do means we need to create a object to the class. Now, during this object creation, we can create a constructor, empty constructor, or we can pass one argument constructor, that is a long C. Means if you are not passing any argument to the constructor, that it is take the default value, means it takes the default range of the random object, or you can specifically mention what the random seed value. Okay, so that part we'll see the programmatically. So as I mentioned, inside a random class we have predefined methods are available. For every requirement we have some predefined methods. Like as I mentioned, to generate the random doubles, we need to use the next double method. You can see here it will generate the random number, any random number within the range 0.0 to 1.0. And so if you want to generate the next boolean, so you can use the next boolean method. As we know that the boolean method means it will generate only two values, that is a true or false. Randomly it will generate the either true or false. Or if you want to generate the next float, you can use next float method. It means if you want to generate the random float values, you can use the next float. Next, if you want to generate the random numbers, you can use the next int method. Okay, so for every requirement, see here the next one, next int of int n, means here you can restrict the random integers. Like here you did not mention anything, so that it will take the default range of the integer. Means any number within the integer range, any number it will generate. But specific, you have a specific requirement. Like I want to generate a number within some range. Like suppose I want to generate a number like 0 to 9. So what we need to pass means, suppose if you pass an argument like 10, so that you are restricting to generate a integer that is the range between 0 to 9. Means you need to pass as argument a 10. So that it will generate any random number within the range that is 0 to 9. Okay, so suppose if you have such type of requirement, we can use this method. And the next bytes, it will generate the random byte values, and you can observe here it is generating what? The multiple of byte values. So that's why it is array of bytes. So like you have some other methods also there. Now we'll see all these methods programmatically. Now, so what is the advantage of using this random class, and what are the application areas of the random class means? So here you can see here the next Boolean method. Suppose if you are developing an application like if you want to develop an application like tossing a coin. So tossing a coin means there are two options will be there, like either head or tail. So suppose if you toss a coin, sometimes you may get head or sometimes you may get a tail. So only two options are there. So suppose if you want to generate only the any random number between the two values, you can use the next Boolean method. So the best example, the tossing a coin. So suppose if you are using this method like next int method, like rolling a dice. So suppose in normal games like a Ludo game. So in Ludo game, you can observe a dice. So the dice values lies between 1 to 6. So if you want to generate the values 1 to 6, you can use this method. Means if you want to develop this such type of games like a Ludo game, or if you want to develop an application like tossing a coin, or if you want to generate some patterns, the pattern recognition, you can use the random. And suppose if you want to generate some OTPs, random OTPs, you can use the random class. Like you have some other applications areas also there. So these are some application areas. So coming to a simple application using the random class. So here, as I mentioned, using the Boolean. So here I developed a simple application, that is a tossing a coin. So here user need to enter his choice, like heads or tails you need to choose. So suppose if user enter heads, so we need to verify whether it is a head or not, we need to verify. Suppose if user choice is heads and random class is generates also heads, so that user win, and you can see here it's a toss. Suppose if it's a heads and you won the toss, like that you will get. So suppose if user choice is the tails, suppose if random class generates heads, so here this option will be executed, that is what, it's a tails, you lost the toss. So this simple application. So now I'm going to develop this application, simple application. I will see. So before developing this application, first we'll see how to work with the random class. Like suppose I want to generate a random class, some random numbers. So for that, what we need to do means you need to create a class. You need to create an object of the class. So random and new random. Now, if you want to pass a seed value here itself, you can pass here. Otherwise, you can ignore. Like suppose random. I want to generate some random 10 values, like int I equals 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. So here I'm generating a random number like random dot next int method. I'm generating 10 random integers here. Now you can see here it will generate. Here I did not mention any range, or here I did not mention any seed value. So it is taking the default int range. So it is generating the random value within the integer range. Now if you have a requirement and if you want to generate a random number within certain range, so you can pass that range here. So suppose I want to generate a random number below 10, so that the number will be, you can see here 1 1 1 and 7 6 6 6 3 and 6. Like the 10 random numbers it is generated, the random numbers range lies between 0 to 9. Okay, so 10 is excluded here. If you pass a 10, it will consider only 0 to 9. If you rerun this program, again it will generate other random numbers. You can see here. So this is what the int method, and here you can pass a seed value. Here you can pass, or else here itself you can pass, wherever you want you can pass, no problem. So this is what the next int method. Same the way, if you want to generate some random boolean values, like so random dot next boolean method. The next boolean method will be return the boolean value. I will store in a variable that is a boolean result, and this value I will print here system.out.println res. Now you can see, now it is generating the true. Now if you rerun this program, again it is returning true. If you rerun this program, and you can see it is returning the false. Means you cannot predict so what value it will generate. So randomly it will generate any value, either true or false. Okay, here the output will be lies between only true or false. Now here you know the boolean value. Now based on this, now we'll develop a simple application, that is a tossing a coin. Now for that, what we need to do means we need to ask user input to enter his value. Like here I'm creating a scanner class and I'm passing system.in, reading input from the keyboard. I'm passing system.in. Now here user need to enter his choice. So heads or tails I'm asking. Heads or tails. Now user will enter his choice, so that choice we need to read. So next, user may enter any value, like, so I will hold in a result. Now, so this here we are reading user input in the form of a string, but the random value will be generated in the form of boolean. Now what we need to do means we need to convert, like, so how we need to do means, so here random dot, so next boolean value I am generating. So here I will hold in a variable that is a boolean. Here I will take the b value. So this b value, suppose here I will take a string value is a toss. So suppose if the b value is a true, then the toss I will reset to head. Heads. Otherwise, I will reset this toss to tails. So that's it. Now, based on this, we need to verify. So, like suppose if the res dot equals to a toss. So just write a simple statement. It's your toss you won the toss. Same the way you lost the toss. That's it. It's a very simple application, nothing is there. So here I generate a random number. So based on this, I reset this value. So if it is a true, I'm resetting this value to heads, and if it is a false, I'm resetting this value to the tails. So here based on this, so here the user can enter his value, like suppose he may enter in the small case or he may enter in the uppercase. So here better I will take in the small case, so that if user enter in the uppercase or any combination, so I will convert toward the lowercase to lowercase. That's it. That. Now run your program. Now have a look. Now user is asking to enter heads or tails. So suppose if I enter heads, now you can see it's a heads, you won the toss. So suppose if user enter tails, so it's heads and you lose the toss. Okay, so this is what the simple application tossing a coin. Okay, so this is what the random class is, a very simple class. And here you can also generate some random byte values. So here I generated some random byte values. So if you want to generate the random byte values, you need to generate a byte of array values. Like here I created byte of, so 10 byte values, I just created 10 references. Now for every reference we need to generate the random value. So here I generated the next byte method, the next bytes, and here I passed what the b as argument, so that it will generate the multiples of byte values. And if you want to read every value, you should use the for loop. Okay, you can use a for loop or for each loop, whatever. So this also I will explain. So suppose if you want to generate some random boolean values, sorry, random byte values. See here, random. So next bytes. Next byte. You can observe here the next bytes method is accepting array of bytes. You can see the next bytes method is accepting array of bytes. So what we need to do means first create array of bytes. So here I am creating the byte array b equals to new byte array. So the byte array here size I mentioned the 10, so that the 10 byte values I am generating. So here I will pass the b as argument, so that it will generate the 10 byte values, 10 byte random values it will generate. Now you can see here. Now, so whatever the values it is generating, that will be stored in the byte array. Now what we need to do means use a for loop. You can use a for loop or for each loop, whatever you want you can use. So here I am using the for loop for each loop. So byte, suppose some I colon and b. Just I will print I, so that it will print a 10 byte values. You can see. So these are what the byte. So as we know that the byte is the range minus 128 to 127. So the values will be generated within this range only. So this is what the next bytes method. Okay, so that's about this session. So thank you.